Hey everyone, welcome back to another month of the series from our scrap bin. And I am using some leftover pieces from the Wander collection that is by close to my heart. As of today, there are still a few left in the shop. You do have to purchase them online, but just letting you know that in case you're interested, once they're gone, they're completely gone because they were for the last catalog. But I did this collection. I've done a couple layouts with it now. One, I did a video for the what not to do in scrapbooking. And then I have another one I still need to do the voiceover for, which was actually the first layout I did, but I thought I'd get the voiceover done by now, but I've just, time got away from me, right? So I was going to separate out all these pieces and, just be done with this collection, but I decided I really like some of these patterns still, and there were still some more elements that I really wanted to use. So I decided to go ahead and see what I could pull out, you know, of whatever these scraps are left. You can see that I don't really have any full like sheets. Actually, well, okay, there is two full sheets of it left, but it's one that I don't really want to cut up just to be scraps. It's kind of like got like a starry paper, and you'll see it here in a little while. And I really love that paper and think that it can be used with anything. But like these other strips, you can see the one with all the different patterns on it and the yellow ones. Those yellow strips were actually the zip strips, like the manufacturing strips. So I thought I would throw this together and see. And I am following a sketch. This is a sketch that I have set aside. I thought maybe one of the other ladies used this sketch within the last couple months, but I can't remember. Um, so if they did, then cool. I'm not trying to steal anything from them or anything, but I thought because this sketch basically, and I'm sorry, I should have showed the sketch. Now that I think about it, I don't think I showed the sketch at all, but it's basically got a bunch of different strips on it, and then just that's about it. So this is perfect for any kind of anything that you might have you could do it vertical, horizontally, either way would be really good. But I knew I just had, like I mentioned, a bunch of these strips, and then I had a bunch of like the stickers, which you can kind of see up in the left-hand corner. And I wanted to use a bunch of those before putting this collection away, because when I was done with this layout, I separated the things out and I no longer have it together as a collection. I just kept a few. I, have some in my purge pile, and I have a few that I want to keep. That's the paper that I have left over. I have two of these left over, and I'm going to get this, but you can see that's a pretty good paper that can go with almost any collection. That blue's pretty, neutral as far as going with a bunch of different collections, and I love this. Um, with this piece, however, I am going to take it and I'm going to make it my photo mat, because I'm going to cut down the entire layout, and mat it. That's why I gutted it in the middle. But I'm also going to bring that blue in, and part of me wanted to do that because I wanted to add that blue stripe. That was just another scrap left over, and I really liked the way that blue stripe was there, but I knew that it was very heavy on the page, and so I knew it was going to need more of that blue color around. And also because there were a few stickers that were kind of that same bluish color, I wanted to bring it in for that reason as well. If you are newer to my channel, I'm going to tell you my little trick here if you have not seen this. When you are matting, after you've gutted a paper, or even just matting it when it's not gutted, what I like to do is I like to put scrappy tape on all four sides of the layout, and then only take the backing off of one of those sides until I get it straight, and then I go ahead and pull off the backing of the other three sides. That is just like a dream as far as when it makes it so easy, or at least a lot easier for me when it comes to lining up the paper on the background paper. If I try to do it with just all ATG, I will not get it straight for the life of me. So that's just a little trick if you are interested and haven't seen me do that before. Now here's kind of a sad moment, but I've had this Studio Calico splatter, or what is it? Mist. I don't know what you call it. I got it in one of their kits years and years and years ago. I mean, it's been at least probably 5 years. And not only is the bottle coming to an end, and this has been my favorite mist because it's like not really a black, it's like a charcoaly type gray color. But I think because normally it takes just a couple minutes for it to dry, and this time around it didn't want to dry. You're going to see I'm actually going to blot it with a paper towel, and there's nothing hardly that comes up on the paper towel, but when I start to move stuff around, it's like it's not dry. I don't know. I think it's honestly just going bad after all that time, and there's really not much left in it, but I'm going to use it as much as I can. So, um, but what I did was basically the sketch has a photo here, and then you can see the splatters go basically all up and down on the right hand side of the layout. There is a little bit of splattering on the bottom left excuse me, on the bottom left hand side of the photo, just to kind of, because I'm going to add a little cluster there to kind of give it a little something more. But yeah, it was just kind of interesting. So, I mean, at this point, I think I had let that layout kind of sit for a minute. And again, you're going to see me pull out my paper towel here just to kind of be extra sure. And anyways, at least I've definitely got a lot of use out of it, because that, like I said, has always been my favorite thing to splatter with. But oh, also the good thing is that even though it wasn't completely dry, it I didn't really smear too much. So there you can see hardly any of it's coming up on the paper towel. I originally thought I was going to do a 5x7 photo, and I decided to actually, because the 5x7, well, first of all, I started to print this photo at 5x7, and oops, it's only 4x6 paper in the printer. So it came out, oh no, it was 5x7 paper, but it was set, the settings were set to 4x6, so it only printed it at 4x6. So that was kind of my bad, but I decided instead of wasting it, I was just going to go ahead and go for it. And I used the 4x6, which is actually good because I think the 5x7 would have been a little bit too large. Like, it would have worked, it just would have covered up a lot of those pattern papers, and I wouldn't have got the same result out of the layout. So here's the sticker sheet, and the only one thing I wish I would have thought about to use was that border sticker, but that's okay. I definitely will save that for another layout, but I'm just going to take a lot of these stickers and a lot of these tags. Up there at the top of the screen, you can see a flashlight. That was actually a sticker that had like a big yellow part next to it. I don't know, remember what it said, but I just fussy cut the flashlight out, so it's going to just be by itself, because the big part was like this big bright yellow coming out of the flashlight, and I didn't want that entire piece on there. So I'm just going to use just the flashlight, and I'm going to basically build up a big sticker sneeze, or whatever you want to call it, along the right hand side of the layout. And I do add more things than I was originally planning on. I am super happy with the layout still. I'm not worried, it's not like I don't like the layout. I do think there was a little bit too much added to this side. But again, like I said, there was things I wanted to use. And so part of the problem too is when I'm doing the bottom elements, like this circle here, they're very much to the right. And so I feel like the line that I was making with the clusters didn't really go straight up and down. It kind of went from the left to the right, and I didn't like that. So that's why, see, I just put it a little too far over to the right. And had I done it a little more to the left, I probably wouldn't have added so much extra stuff in there. But it is what it is. And again, like I said, I really like the layout, and it used up all of these fun. That's a picture of my husband on one of his hiking trips, and it also wasn't the photo I was originally planning on using, but I really liked that he had like that same kind of matching blue shirt in it, and it was just a really nice photo. Definitely beautiful background. So it's kind of just, he's my backpacker, my hiker, so I kind of feel like this entire layout represents him. So it doesn't really bother me at all that it's not the photo that I was planning on using. But you can see there that the cluster, the whole entire cluster on the left-hand side just veers off to the right at the bottom and drives me nuts. So I am going to keep on adding stuff down. I really like this Gone Explorin'. That's basically my title. I tucked that flashlight behind it, and I did pop up the Gone Exploring with some foam tape. I am using foam tape on just a few of the elements there. And yeah, I'm trying to pull in a few different circle shapes as well, because I have the circle at the bottom there. There was a part also where I think I glued something down right underneath that, my Ticket to Anywhere, that blue ticket. And I kind of glue it down. I don't remember what it was at this point, but I'm sure we'll see it here in a minute. But then I pulled it up and it kind of ripped that paper. So that's also why I kind of added a few more things in. So it is what it is, right? And then I also added that axe in. And so I went ahead and I wanted to add in some more red elements. So I think maybe in that axe, when these stickers are down, I feel like they are down. Like you have a little bit of wiggle room, but once you really push them down, and so that axe, because I liked it there, is pretty much down. But because it's that red color, which is also in that pattern paper strip, so it's not like it wasn't anywhere else on the layout, but I do try to figure out a couple more ways to add in that red color. And then I'm going to add that green chipboard arrow. It had an arrow piece in it, and I don't see any reason why you can't use the outer piece. But now you can see how it just wasn't paying enough attention, and the bottom just kind of goes too far to the right. So if I hadn't done that, I probably would have loved this layout even more because I wouldn't have kept adding more and more. But again, I really like the layout, so I'm happy with it. And I feel like by the end of the layout, I've kind of fixed it so it's not as far over. With this ephemera piece, it has some mountains on it, and I just fussy cut a couple of the mountains. I was originally thinking maybe I would add this down by that circle to kind of help it come back over to the left-hand side. The other thing I was also thinking is the cluster, the whole entire cluster goes down off the bottom of the page, whereas at the top at this point, it doesn't really go up off the page. I was actually okay with that, but I was just trying to make it look real cohesive. Looking at it on the screen looks a lot better than, because you guys see it from top down. And when I'm doing the layout, it's flat to me, so it's a little bit harder for me to see. But so I remember I'd added something up there, but it seems like it's kind of funny because part of the problem is everything that I cut to add to the bottom to kind of make that cluster not go off to the right so much seemed like I ended up putting it somewhere else on the layout. So it kind of was making the clusters hard. I liked the way the flag kind of stuck up out there. I felt like it brought that top part over to the right a little bit, but I didn't like that red. I felt like that red was too much. Like it took away too much of your attention from the rest of the layout. It was that red color and it brought that red color around, but it just was like too much. So that is what I added. I added the Let's Go down below, which I just fussy cut from around that boot. I have a camera, I have a couple cameras. I fussy cut the blue camera from one of these sticker sheets or stickers. And here I'm trying to bring around the circle a little bit more because at this point I have the circle sun and I have the circle mountain word piece at the bottom. So you saw there, I took my circle punch and I'm going to add it to kind of help fill in a couple more areas. And off screen after this, I do go and I add a couple stars around it. And I think it's the stars that maybe make it so I don't really, I don't know, like took it over the top. But again, I don't know. I'm happy with it. So that's all that really matters, right? So Yeah, there's a couple close-up photos. I don't really know what else to say, but I hope you guys like this layout. Let me know what you think, and please check out the links below and go see what the other ladies have done that are in this hop. All right, guys, see you next month. Bye.